Alright, hello, this is Josh with Logic Chronicles. Now we'll start the display for most of this stuff, alright? First thing is just make these widgets right out here in front. Just make them, name them, just leave them there, and that's really it. This one right here is not really too important, it's just something I'm doing. But you know, you got a journal entry, you got a journal entry button, you got a journal gather information, excuse me. And then after that, you got the main journal. Sorry about that. So you go to the main journal. This is going to be kind of designed. You're going to have to decide how you want to design it, however you want. But the only things that are like really crucial is that I have this scroll box here, where all the active quests are going to go into. Like everything that's going to display is what quests exist in the world, what can you actually check out. That's just going to go here. And then over here, I have the quest name that's going to switch. This is going to be something to indicate like the type of quest, the progress of it. I have an image right there. And then I have this scroll box right here where basically the journal entries would be lined up inside of here. The rest of this is just stuff I'm using for detail, and then something I'm doing to kind of let the player make their own journal entries so that they can keep notes of things that are going on. But for the most part, all you really need is just the scroll boxes, preferably the name of it, and then this an image, because I'll show you what I'm going to use the image for. However you set it up, I mean that's kind of up to you. This is the kind of layout I'm doing. It's a little more complicated because I've got some like the custom journal entries on the other page on widget switching thing. So it'll do that. But for this, really, just one big border, and I'm doing vertical box beside that, horizontal to split it. One on one side. Actually, do you actually need that vertical box? Thinking to myself, you know, I do not think I do, but I'm gonna leave it alone for now. But anyway, But yeah, so then I have one border on one side just to kind of change up the color. And then I put a vertical box so I can tell you that these are the entries. Actually, that shouldn't be, no, I should say quests. Say quest, yeah. Should be quest. There we go. So these are the quests. This will show you all the quests. And then underneath that should be a scroll box. On the other side, you just have another border, vertical box. I put a horizontal box so we can have the name in there, and then an image. And then I put the image inside of a size box. That way, just kind of, if you don't, it kind of distorts the image and it has like a really weird like layout to it. So that's what I did like that. And then underneath the horizontal, you would need this scroll box. Again, the other stuff I have here is just for things I'm working on. This won't be too relevant. All right. Now, we'll try to go through as much of this as possible. What you're going to want to do is you want to come here, and you want to actually make on the construction, event construction. What you want to do is you want to add a quest manager as a variable, somewhere right here. So just add that. I do a valid check just in case. All right. Now these quests update. We'll get to these in one moment. Next thing we'll do is come here and create a custom event, so that we can in our custom event select quest selection. This will actually choose, okay, which quest are you actually looking at. Throw that down here, and the rest of this is just stuff I'm working on. That's not really too important, but just do this. At least with this, just have this this variable right here. This function you can leave off to the side for now. We'll get back to this stuff in a minute. I just want to have this stuff laid out first. That way we can come back and work on it later. Other things that might be important. One thing that actually might be important. Function library. What I did is I made this a separate function library, and this is kind of overkill maybe for this, but it was just an easy way to do it so that everything has the same image. What I did was I went through and I made in a function library just one thing, and it's just get the texture of the quest. So what I'm doing here is basically just quest status, have that come in, and then for each of these, what I'm returning is a brush, or a slant brush, for each of these, and then I'm putting in the image of whatever it is I want. If you need help finding some of this stuff, like I have some things that are from the default engine, and you just come here, scroll down to engine content, and you get a whole bunch of other stuff that's default with it. For testing purposes, it's fine. For your actual game, you probably want to use stuff you made yourself, but there's that. At least you can test it out and kind of get a good idea so that if something comes up, you know, okay, this is the symbol for when it's in progress, this is the symbol for when it's complete, and so on and so forth. And then with that, what I did was this right here, that image. What I've done is I've come here, and I've basically did this, right? Off of this, what I've done is I've taken the quest manager. I got the quests that are inside of it, and I got the current quest that's selected. You know, I found the current quest, I broke it open, got the quest status, and then threw that into the function that was in the function library, and then threw that over in the return. So that way, when you come over here, it'll switch to whatever quest status is on that quest. So that'll be the actual I come here to this base actor. That'll be this variable. Where is it? That'll be this variable over our dynamic right here. It'll correspond to this variable. All right. Because we're actually going to be saving that information as well. So that'll be it for the journal entry for now, I believe. Just make sure that there's nothing else that might be slightly important. And that should be it. So that's these two functions we'll make after we make the buttons and stuff. Now after that, next thing that might be important is we'll make the gather info one. So in here, all I'm doing is I just put a size box down. I put a horizontal box in there, and then what I did is display name. So this is whatever you're trying to display to the person. This will be the actual current amount that they have, just a little division sign to make it look nice and pretty. And then this is be the amount they need. Okay. Now within here, the event graph, nothing's going on, but I did make a couple variables. The first one is the maximum amount, so this will be like whatever the max target you're looking for. The current, which is whatever the player currently has in their inventory or however many they've completed, and so on and so forth. Now this next one is the display name. Now that display name is just whatever the task, whatever the counting thing you're trying to do is. How many and kill this many enemies, or collect 3 flowers, or whatever it is. So then from here, the name can just go directly into this binding right here. But for these, what I'm doing is I'm just coming here and just creating function, just functions. Just take this and just stick that straight in there, and you'll get this conversion node, this convert node. Same thing with the max. That's all I'm doing, and then I'm taking these and just putting them in. So for this first one, current. Second one, max. Okay. And you'll see what I'm going to use this for in a little bit. I'm just going to have it. Just needs to make sure it's made so that it's there. The only other thing is just make sure it's exposed on spawn and exposed on spawn for both of these, or all 3 of them. All right. Now the next one. I'm a little hesitant to figure out which one I want to go into next. I guess the button. We'll go into the button next. Now this will be for the actual quests themselves, whichever one you want to look up that's active. For the layout, another size box, just a simple button. And then what I got here is I got a horizontal box. Within there I threw a name, and then same thing with the image right here, and then right there. So a size box and then an image to keep it kind of neat. Now other than that, most I'm doing for variables, we got the quest name, or the quest ID, the quest name, the journal widget. I should probably call this main journal widget, and then the quest status. And then just make sure these are all exposed on spawn. Alright. Now the quest name can go right here. Just bind it. And then for this brush, oh, that was not nice. Actually, that may look a little bit better. I'm going to go padding around like just straight up 5. That may look better, I don't know. We'll see. For that, for this, the binding on that, I'm just going to come over here to the brush, is just the same thing. I got the quest status that it has that's input, and then get status, quest status texture. Just throw that straight in there, and that should work for that. The only other thing I'm doing is on click for the button, I'm going to take the main journal widget, and then I'm actually going to call this custom function. That should have been made before, or well, earlier when I told you to. Hopefully you did that. but you should just do that and then just input the quest ID there. So that way when you select this button, it'll come over here, and not to this widget. It'll come over, not that one either. It will come over to this one. Come over here, and it'll tell this right here, this is the quest that's selected, and then we'll do some stuff after that. But we'll say this is the current quest that's selected. Okay? Now, the next thing that we'll do, so we have the buttons done. We shouldn't have to open that up other than just styling it. The last one is the current entries. Now for this one, what I got is size box, border, vertical box, and all I'm doing here is I'm adding a date thing, so you can kind of, this horizontal box is just so like, alright, here's the date of when this was done in the game. It's again, it's not really you don't really need that for this, but it's just something I'm doing. But then I have the image here again, so it's just going to tell you, did this individual task or this individual entry, was it complete, was it failed, and so on and so forth. That's what that image is going to do. And it's just you know, size box with an image in it. And then underneath that, what I did was I threw a horizontal box, and within the horizontal box, I put a little space. That way, it's indented a little bit because I thought it looks a little bit nicer. And then text. And then for that text, you want to make sure it's auto wrapped. And I put mine at 600 because it's just shy of that, so it's like it gives a little room right here because I thought it would look a little nicer. And then other than that, we have a horizontal box, spacer, and then what's it called? It's a scroll box. The whole point of this is because what we're gonna add to this are the gather index journal things, so that we can say, all right, this is the task, or this is the thing you need to get. This is the amount you have, and then this is the maximum you need. So we're just gonna be spawning in, or just adding in a whole bunch of these underneath it, just to give a list of the different gather things you need. All right. Now, in terms of functions and all that, you need the quest index, you need a journal entry, you're going to need the quest manager, and you're going to need the quest status. Okay? For this brush over here, again, it's the same sort of idea. All we're doing is for the brush, just taking the quest status and throwing it in to get the different icons. All right? Now, the next thing, we'll start with text. Let me just see which one this is. Okay, we'll come over to we got that one, the gather one. This one will be a little bit simpler. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but it will be. So what this is going to do is we're going to get the gather information. So we're going to get the quest manager. Get quests by ID should have been a function that we made. I'm just going to open it up just in case. Hopefully I didn't forget it. But this is going to be in the quest manager. We're going to get all the spawn quests. We're going to do a for loop with break. It should probably just be a for loop at this point because of what I'm doing here, but who cares? Do a for loop, and this should be is valid because there's a possibility the quest might be deleted from the world. So if it's valid, then we'll do this. Alright, so we're going to get the quest itself. We're going to get the ID. We're going to check if the ID matches the ID we're looking for. If it's true, we're going to return. We're just going to return the quest itself. We're also going to try to find the quest information, throw that through. We're going to try to return the result. Was it found or not? We're going to do the same thing here. So we have all that information. Okay? So that way when we come back here, we'll just call that function inside the journal entry from the quest manager. And we have the entry that should be input in here, also exposed on spawn with all of these. So that this is exposed on, we got the quest ID. We'll find this quest ID, and then once we we find the current quest structure, and we also need to find that information. Now, this might not be necessary. This one right here. Yeah, it's not necessary. To get rid of that valid because I don't even care if it returned that or not. We just want the data. which will make most of this useless. Yeah. That's useless. We don't even need that there. Okay. So what I'm doing essentially, getting the quest manager, pulling off this, finding wherever that quest information is. All I care about right now is just the quest class, so I hit all those pins. And then what I'm doing is I'm coming here, I'm getting the defaults of this. And again, just come here and say class of defaults. And I hid everything except for the gather information for this entry, for this particular entry that we're looking for. So if you remember, right? If I go through the base actor, we got all the journal entries that are possible, right? But some of these are going to need gather information. And these should link up together, so one entry, if it needs gather information, it'll have this and it'll just append it on below. So when we come over to this, we're just going to take this and we're just going to append it on the bottom here and just keep adding them as we need. So for instance, if the first task right here, alright, so we have this index. If the first task right here is, so if this is one journal entry, that's another journal entry, that index would be 0. We'll say get money. The next thing, let me just do 1. The next thing would be 0. We'll say pick up sword. Say pick up sword. That'd be the next entry. So those will be there. And then we'll say, okay, well, what's the max gather? All right, for this one, we'll say we want you to for the money, we want you to get 10. And then right here for the swords, we'll say 2. So what it'll do is it'll come here. We're gonna make this. So we'll say, all right, this one right here, that text will end up going here. This maximum amount will end up going here, and then whatever the current amount is for that index will end up going here. Alright? So we got that. Okay. So now while we're over here, we got the entry now. The whole point is we get the default, so these are part of the statics. That's why, so we can actually get it from the class itself. Reason why is because I could have used structs and stuff like that, but it's just I've found that sometimes using structures, it's weird if you have structures embedded in structures. I've gotten errors, and it's been really annoying having things crash, and it's not fun sometimes. So this is the way I've been doing it. So we got the defaults, get that, find that information, or find that entry, particular entry, and then from there you just kind of break it, and then what we'll do is we're just going to check to make sure it actually has anything first off, to make sure it has anything that's supposed to be displayed under that. And if that's true, then we're just going to come here, get the keys, do a for loop off of that. And what we'll do is we'll just find each of the indexes, or each index, find the text that is associated with it. We'll create a journal entry. We'll put that in there, and then we'll add the wall. From there, what we'll do is we get the journal entry in. Then from the save struct, which is coming from over here, this information, what's going to happen is we're going to get the gather amount, or the progress, and that'll be the current amount. And then we'll come here to the default of this class, we'll get the gather maximum, and we'll throw it over in the maximum. So that's what that's doing. And then after that, we're going to add it to the scroll box. And that scroll box will be the scroll box right here that's almost not visible. Just make sure that is variable is set. And then, yeah, so I'd put a little spacer so it's indented as well. But that'll cover that. So that way it'll just keep adding them as needed. Okay? So this will handle itself. The next thing, I get quest status, quest type, where is this coming from? I actually don't remember. I'm just going to delete this and see what happens if I get an error message or not. Because where is this? 'Cause I really don't know where this is coming from. Get text. Okay, so that's something I wasn't using. Alright, now the next thing right here, get display text. This will be for this right here. Whatever is actually being displayed, this is the journal entry. This is what you were doing. Okay? Get the quest manager. find the ID within the quest information, which will be all that'll be saved. Break open the structure. Then we get the quest class itself, get its defaults. We're gonna find that journal entry, and that journal entry within all the ones that are under statics, and then we're going to just plug it straight in. That way, this right here, when it's binded to that function, it'll just display whatever it needs to display. And this next one is just get the date. So I'm just saving a date and stuff like that, and then I'm just kind of throwing it in there, same sort of idea. Alright, well, that should be all for that. And I'm just going to do a quick look. Now what we want to do is on construct, we actually want to pull out this gather one, and just actually this gather info, and just plug it in. That way it'll actually run that when it's created. Alright, so that handles that. So under the widgets, alright. So this button is complete. That is complete. Now we'll come over here to the main journal entry, or main journal itself. Oh, we got an error. Alright, there we go. Alright. Now we can start doing some of these functions. Now after this, as soon as you construct, right, we'll get the quest manager is valid, and then what we're gonna do is remember, this is the only one that should be exposed on spawn, because this is one we're gonna need the most. The rest of these are gonna be all found later on. Actually, this is the only other variable. These two are ones that I'm working on for my custom notes, so don't worry about those. This one right here, right? If it's valid, then we're gonna update the quests. Now under the update quest, we're just gonna actually call this from the manager. It's where did this go? Sorry, over here. We're gonna call this from the manager. That way, just in case something changed, because you never know what happens. We want to make sure that the information is up to date. Maybe you didn't update it along the way, or maybe you just forget to do that. So this is every single time the player comes and opens this thing, they'll always just straight away just update everything. That way they have the most up-to-date information. Just going through each of the quests that are spawned. It's gonna make a save struct. It's gonna find that quest. You're gonna get the save struct, break it, find the quest ID, and then just set the quest ID to the new stuff. And that's what this is doing. Now this next function, display quest buttons. This will be for this one right here. Again, make sure this is variable. Make sure that this is variable. So this one right here, what we want to do is we just want to come here. We want to clear it first off, make sure that nothing's there. Then after we do that, quest manager is valid, just in case. It really shouldn't be, but you know, just in case if you messed up with something or whatever, you got something to cover yourself. And then what I'm doing here is I threw down a local variable and say categories, and it just a quick way of doing this. So I just threw in all the categories possible, so that way it'll do a loop on that, and it'll organize it. So this first one right here, we're gonna come over here and get the quest information from the quest manager. We're gonna get a keys. We're gonna break it into, or we're gonna do it into for loop, and then from this we're gonna find whichever one we're looking at, and we're gonna break the information out of here. This is just the save struct, but these 4 pins right here are the most useful, are the ones that we're actually gonna use. So what I'm gonna do right off the bat is once I get this information, I'm gonna check. That's not what I'm checking. Okay, I'm getting the class defaults, and from the defaults, I'm going to come over here. I close off every pin except for these. That one's not useful either. Just these two. So I have the quest name, which is important, and I have the quest type from the quest class itself. I want to check, is this quest class equal to whichever category type we're currently looping through? Now, if that's true, then what we're going to do is this. We're going to create a journal entry right here, journal entry button, and then we're going to add it to that scroll box. And the parameters is just simple: the quest ID, the quest name coming in through here. We have the quest status, which this should be coming from over here because these are all dynamic ones that we're all like saving and stuff. So that'd be that. And that should be it for all of those. Okay, let me just kind of go in order now. So that'll be that for that function. Now the other second thing is just do a quick look over so you can kind of see everything, because this is so it'll do that. It'll put things into categories for you. The only thing is I don't quite see it here, but I could have sworn there should have been another wood thing to actually put a separation in, which I don't quite know why it's not there. Oh, never mind. I didn't do that here. That's why. Anyway, next thing is under selection, right? We're going to have a selection. We're going to get the current quest. And then over here, once we have that current quest, we're going to update the journal entries. So which means over here, we're actually going to fill this in with information that the player should know. So come here, click this. Alright, first things first, I'm going to clear this scroll box because we want that to be cleared. Now that is clear, we're going to get the manager. We're going to get the quest information. This is everything that's saved. Remember that. And we're going to get the current quest selected. We're going to find it in that information. We're going to break it open. We're going to do a for loop on the journal entries themselves. And then we're going to find each of these journal entries. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to feed that into here. So we're going to put the journal entry in here. We're going to get the current quest that's active into here. And we'll get the quest status and throw that into there. Alright. Then once we do that, we also need the quest manager. Once that's made, we're just going to add it to the scroll box. So essentially this will be now spawning in which one was this one. This will add each of these individually. So that's how that's going to be working. Okay. Now if I hit play. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to tell you. Alright. However you decide to do this is your choice again. For my character, the way I'm actually going to display this information is some temporary word. Whenever I press T, I'm doing a flip here, and I'm getting the quest manager. I'm getting the game mode, casting to it, getting the quest manager from that, and then from here I'm kind of just creating that main journal widget, and I'm adding it to the viewport, allowing show mouse, and then doing that. And then on the second time when I hit T, it'll actually just close it. That's what that's doing. So you just have to remember, where you're actually storing your quest manager. So this is actually lets you see it, and it's just gonna remove it once you're done. I should probably do a set UI only over here, or set use widget focus, but I'm not that concerned about this right now. All right, so that's that. So then once you hit play, you should hit T, and you should ideally just get this. Because this is the only quest that should be spawned into the world. It's in progress, which that looks so nice. That looks so official. But it has no name, see that, and no quest information, which is perfectly fine. Because if we come here, in the next video, we'll actually fill this out and actually start making the quest journals appear and stuff, if everything's done well. But what we can do now is in this temp, not this one. Yeah, in this one. So in that temp quest, the quest name under statics, say to tutorial. I can't spell right now. Tutorial quest, and we'll come here. Tutorial test quest. So I come here, hit T now. We got tutorial test quest, tutorial test quest. And that's all the information we have right there. The next thing we're going to have to do is actually set things up so that we'll put the journal entries in here so that it can actually know what journal entries are saved and what's not saved and all this and that. But that's that for this video. That handles the display part of it. Hopefully, I felt like I might have rushed it, but hopefully that was kind of there. You saw everything. So if anything doesn't make sense, just go back, and I should have went through all the widgets that are needed. But that's that. See you next time.